We are live. Yes. Here we go. Here we go. Just going to wait a couple of seconds. Let some people join the live. Yes, we have action. People jumping on straight away. And yes, guys, as you're jumping on, drop a little comment in the box below. Say hello to Ronnie. And we will get this show on the road. So, Rondo.
What are you saying, buddy?
First of all, my man, thanks very much for jumping on. Super excited for this one. But yeah, here we go. We've got action. People are jumping on. The Shark. How are you doing, Ronnie? Yes.
I'm talking about proper, right? Before we've even started here, I've had like pre-fight pisses, and I've had 3 of them.
So, mate, here, Ex-World Kickboxing Champion, IBF European Super Featherweight Champion,
yeah.
And now on a mission to get your next fight.
Most definitely trying our hardest to not ruffle feathers, just an honest man's fight. Just have a real fight. Just get out there and just do something. Like, I know that I have a lot more left in the tank. Obviously, I've had injuries and stuff, but I feel like boxing's my medicine, and this is what I just strive to do. I just know that I can do better and I can achieve more. So I'm just looking for opportunities to come back my way.
Yeah, definitely. So here, I'm going to get a wee plug on the go right now before we even get started, mate. So there's another wee mission with this live in this interview tonight. So we want to get as many shares as possible because we want to reach as many people as possible so that Ronnie can get another fight. So if you hit that share button, guys, straight away, that would be amazing. And we'll get right into the action. So, mate, how's the last 14 weeks been going for you anyway?
Well, lockdown has been pretty brutal. No gyms, like having to get on the roads, and as anybody would know, I never run. Running's it's not my game. I get in that boxing ring, I stand in the middle of the ring and I fight. I'm like, why do I have to run miles when I'm never going to run in a ring? But I've been doing bits of running. I've been doing cycling. The other day, I had the burn on the trailer away through Arbroath. Honestly, wasn't clever. Wasn't big, wasn't clever. So,
what happened there, Ronnie? Because I seen that you went to Arbroath with one bike and you came back with another.
Oh, well, got offered decent money for the bike, so the bike got sold.
How do you even get in that kind of conversation with somebody?
Oh man, listen, I don't know how I manage life. How I got this far in life, I do not know. But if someone's going to help along the way, we're going to do it. Mate, it's mad, but it's brilliant. It's good.
So you're training, been chipping away.
Just been working away, just doing little bits, and mainly just focusing on a lot of stretching. Obviously, I had back surgery there, so just getting everything stronger, getting my core a lot stronger again, and just getting myself moving. Like before that operation, I would have honestly said I'll never fight again. And just 3 weeks after the operation, just killed all the medicine, everything. Just was like, listen, my body will heal its way. So just done everything just pure natural, just exercise, breathing, my mind, and just getting better.
Yep.
And it's I was back training at Evolved Fitness, and massive benefits. A thing called a K-box. We're doing a lot of K-box workouts, and something yourself that you need to have a wee look into if you've not already seen it. But amazing, really good, feeling really good. And then obviously K-box is it looks like a step-up board, right? Yeah. Looking at it, I walked into the gym and I was thinking, mate, you think that thing there is going to make me strong? So seemingly these things were designed for going into space, because obviously if someone was to go into space, they have to exercise. You can't go that long without doing anything. Your muscles will deteriorate. So what the K-Box does is you exercise, you're strapped onto it. So it's essentially, it looks like a step-up board with a wheel on it. You're strapped to the board. So so if you do a workout, so if you're squatting, of course, right, it works. So on your way down, I'll double it on the way back. So it's
right, okay.
that wheel rotates with the belt, and it's you would have to see it to actually to appreciate it.
Yeah.
But oh man, so I was doing that, and just the burn, even like the bicep curls. So obviously, again, the harder you give it that pull back, the harder it fights against you on the way back.
Yeah.
And your biceps, I swear, are dying. But it's so good, or I don't know if it's just because of my personality.
Yeah.
Like I want to do it, burn my arms off, and then do it again, and then do it again, and do it again. And I'm like, I just love the feeling. I love just that hard work. So, but again, we're going to speak, get things back working there, and just like I've not even got a boxing trainer at the moment. Like obviously, I've been out of the ring for some time, and it's been frustrating. It has. My trainer wasn't training pros; he stopped training pros. And I just kind of, when he says he stopped training pros, I was kind of like, well, listen, Terry, I'll give you time, because for me, he has to be in a good place for anything to go around him. But what I know is when I train with him, he makes me feel like a king. He makes me feel like a champion. He makes me feel like I'm invisible. And I love like just the real training where it's like, listen, you spar this guy, and then when you're tired, this next guy's coming in, and then when you're tired, the next guy's coming in. And just real training, and I just love it. I just love like in the sweat box with him. Like I actually feel like I'm going to pass out where I'm seeing the flashing lights, and I'm like, and he doesn't care. It's like there's no sympathy. There's no like, hey, Ronnie, you're going to be all right. Listen, keep on going, because at the end of the day, you can't change that in a fight. You can't say, wait there, hang on a minute, mate. I'm a wee bit. You're going to need to stop this. You're going to stop hitting me for a few seconds.
Yeah.
And it is. So, and that's the thing. I says to Terry, I would give him that time. I never put any pressure on him. I've not been in contact. Obviously, I took myself away from all social media, taking myself away from everything.
Yeah.
Changing my phone number. I have about 10 contacts in my phone. I literally, and it's not because I don't want to speak to people.
Yeah.
I just needed my own little space to myself to actually think what I wanted to do. And if I did want to do this, if I did want to come back, if I could give what I give, because I don't want to come back to give 80%. That's not me. Like I give 100% in what I do, and that's it. So I have, and at the moment Terry's out in Spain with Josh and Lee McGregor, Ben Davidson. So seeing Josh's Instagram, looks like they're having a ball. So I'm loving it, because again, like when I see Josh working, he's the hardest working man in the gym.
Yeah.
It's like we would spar, so we would be in the ring, we'd be sparring, and then Terry'd be right, boys out, more people in, so they get the other boys in. And like me and Josh are meant to be on the rest or on the backs. We're bashing each other up. It's like sparring number.
Yeah, it must be good to have somebody of that like caliber to be training with me.
Yeah, it's the mindset. See, just when you're surrounded with champions, that's what you become. And it's like, I think like I was lucky when I kickboxed. Obviously, I trained with Sky Axe, and I done well, but I fought on just raw aggression. I was just a wee tough street fighter that could carry it into a boxing ring and do a lot, or a kickboxing ring and do a little bit.
Right.
And then I fought one of Lex's fighters and knocked him unconscious. But when they're coming with oxygen and everything, I was thinking, man, I must hit hard. And the guy was really good. He was a really good fighter.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, Lex was saying to me, listen, you're really talented. You can go places. And I always wanted to be what he was, because he was 7 times world champion. He had fought everybody some brutal knockouts. Like when he fought Trevor Ambrose, I mean, it was like devastating knockout. But I kind of wanted to become that, so I started kickboxing, and my first world title.
Let me jump in, Ron. Right? Let me jump in just for a second. So, what age did you start kickboxing at?
So I started kickboxing when I was 7-year-old with a guy called John Rogers.
I remember John.
A complete legend. Yeah, it was. Old John was honestly just like a mad old guy, brilliant. Honestly, and then it was obviously his son, young John and Lee. And obviously, you kind of worship them. You're like looking at me like, oh man, this is brilliant. Yeah. I actually remember as a kid going to one of the shows, and I was always like about everywhere. I was like just a wee scally, and goes in the locker room. He was fighting a guy called Wally Mushet, and the guy looked like he had been smashed to pieces. His nose was all over the place. Just looked like a really tough man. And I remember going back and I said to John, oh, I was in their changing room. That guy's a beast. He's a monster, man. Look. And I said, he breaks bricks with his head. And I remember John saying to me, listen, you go back through there and tell him that bricks won't hit him back. And I was like, brilliant. Honestly, brilliant. And then obviously he went in and he smashed the guy. He broke his ribs. He broke the guy's ribs. And I remember the guy just folded up in pieces. And I was just a young kid. Young kid. And I was like, man, I love that. And then obviously Michael Endsley, Michael is
Mike.
Mental, yeah.
Mental boy, like.
He was fighting a guy, right? And for being a big heavyweight, he could move. He was light on the feet, and he was a heavy hitter. And he's fighting a guy, and he throws a turning kick, right? But the turning kick knocked the guy unconscious. He continues, barrels around, and does a 360. But the guy was on his knees when he hit him with a 360. It was like kicking a football. Oh man, it was good. But as a kid, I remember looking at it and thinking, man, that was amazing. That guy just instantly went to sleep.
Yeah.
And I was just, so obviously from a kid, I always seen these things, and I was just like, man, this is life. I want to do this.
So do you think it was the violence that intrigued you?
I think a lot of the violence, the Jean-Claude Van Damme, Jean-Claude Van Damme and all that kicking and splits across the chairs. I would be in the Enigma. Get me the highest stools. Splits across in the Enigma dance floor. Like, mental. Just mental, but like harmless. Just I was hyper. I was really hyper.
Yeah.
So it was good. It's good memories. It's just really good memories.
What age were you when you thought, this is what I want to do?
So from I was 7, like my dad used to take us kickboxing because it was a wee escape. Used to get to the pub. I used to train at Brown Constables, and the pub was up the stairs. Yep. I remember my dad used to drive a wee Sea Edge Ford Escort, a blue Ford Escort. Used to drive it around.
Was that when it was in the old Princess Snooker Club?
I remember it was at the Princess, yeah, but this was even before then. This was before then, yeah. This was so. If you come up from the Princess Snooker Club, it was like Brown Constables. I think it's flats or something now. It's something bizarre like that. I actually think it is flats now. But I was in an attic. We used to go up to the attic, and I remember there was daggers on the wall. You know the size that and I just used to love. I used to just love everything about it. I honestly used to just love everything about it. I used to think I was one of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I did. I was like, but and I just my dad would go drop us down, and we would all go upstairs. My dad would be having a few beers, and then I'd finish, and then I'd go down. He would finish his drink, jump in the car, and drive up the road like he was the law, and just oh man, it was just really good times. And then it was probably about 13, I think it was. 12, maybe younger than 13. It was everybody was fighting in Ireland, but like we were pretty gadgets. It was 5 of us, so we never really had much. But I really wanted to go, and I was saying like, "Oh, Mum, I really want to go." And she's like, "I've no money. We can't pay for you to go to Ireland. We can't do it." And it was an old guy, Bucky, old Bucky Stewart, and he's dead now. God rest his soul. He paid for me to go to Ireland. He paid it all for me to go, just this random man. And I was just like,
Class.
wow. Like as a kid, and going into Ireland, I remember us fighting a boy called Joe. Maybe can't remember his surname yet. Joe, whatever his surname was, right? I'm fighting him. He was called Wee Joe. Wee Joe, clearly Irish. He was about 6 foot. And they come down and they were trying head guards on, so they were in the car outside, and I'm looking out and everybody's looking to see who they're fighting. And this wee Joe pops out the car and he's like towering the car. Obviously we're just young kids. And I remember getting in there before the fight and them saying to me, "Oh, obviously the guy's a lot bigger than you. Do you still want to fight him?" And I was like, "Yeah, even better, he's bigger." Like, I went in and fought my wee heart out, honestly. That was the event where Michael Emsley done that brutal knockout. So from that, I kind of had that desire.
Yep.
And then kind of like my mum met a man, he kind of come on the scene, and I was kind of doing a bit, but I kind of felt like I turned a wee bit rogue. I kind of thought I was the gangster, and probably believed half of his stories. I was like, "Oh yeah, well, you know who my new dad is." So, stupid cunt, man. Did I learn that one fast? but yeah, no. So I kind of went off the rails a bit, and then I got in a bit of bother, and then I was probably, I think I was 16 or something. I got in trouble, and then I went away to young offenders, and I was in Pullman. Pullman was the first place I went, and I remember like how everybody has something to prove.
Yeah.
And I'm not the person really to back down. And I was just like, boys come up to us and says, "Oh, by the way, Ronnie, there's a blade in the hall, you're away to get slashed." And I'm thinking, well, listen, if someone's going to slash me, if they don't do it right, I'm going to kill them. So then, whatever day it was, the first day, they come in, but there was like 5 of them. They come running in the television room to try and slash us. But I jumped up off my seat so that they could face me if they were going to do it, fight us.
Yep.
And they all run out. So that was the first one. And then the next one, so it was like one day on, one day off. So it was like a day in, and then it was a Wednesday, I think it was. I goes out to rec, and I'm sitting. I remember I was watching What Lies Beneath the Loch Ness. Yeah, I was just getting to the good bit. I'm like sitting there with my legs up, watching the TV, and I seen like in the back room there's like pool tables. I seen the light in the background from the reflection, and people coming in. So I kind of pulled my legs off the TV cabinet, and I'm just sitting there. And then somebody comes bouncing over the seats. But the way it looked in the television to me was he was like trying to punch me. So I pulled my head to the side. And when I pulled my head to the side, he kind of slashed me from here. And it kind of finished around the back of my neck. But as soon as he done it, he ran to the window to throw what he had used out the window. And then obviously had to pass me. But I saw like fitted seats obviously in there, so you couldn't basically throw them. And he must have got about 3 rows over. I just jumped up, pulled him in between the seats. And I mean, I was punching this guy so hard that I could have been punching the floor. Like, I do not. And there was blood everywhere. Obviously, in my neck, there was a lot of blood. Started stamping on him, and I was just like pure violence. And then that day, I was like, I ended up, they tried to, the car, they call it a turkey. So they put us in the turkey, and they're taking us out. And then obviously, when they get us into the light, they see that there's blood pouring on my neck. Yeah. So I get rushed to the hospital and gets treated and whatever else. Comes back, and then I was sitting thinking to myself, what can I do with myself? Because am I just going to be one of these people that live my life just fighting, getting into trouble? For what? For what? Yeah. What am I gaining from this? So I did.
So do you think that day, that instant was a wee turning point for you?
Not really, because I did still have that, that I was quite fiery. I was always quite fiery, and I was always like, if someone was bigger than us or bullying, I would always if someone tries to overpower us, I kind of I retaliate with aggression. So, or I used to I always used to retaliate with fighting because it's the only thing I really knew.
Yeah.
And I didn't know how to deal with it. So, like, if someone's overpowering you or over you, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're trying to fight with you. Maybe they are trying to intimidate you or whatever else. But anyway, so I didn't. Still, obviously, got myself in a bit of trouble inside and whatever else. But I tried. And one thing that I really did work there though is because I used to be really like Ken and really Ori, a bit like yourself. So no, I used to be like really, really Dundonian, really broad spoken, especially. And then when I'm with my brothers and that, we're all like get really hyper, and that kind of that way comes out. But like when I was inside, I tried to say to myself, "Listen, I'm not going to speak Glaswegian because I'm not Glaswegian, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to say please and thank you, and I'm going to be respectful to people, and I'm going to treat people really nice until they do something to me." So I was actually that point that I said to myself, listen, I'm going to have, but boy, did I learn fast there. When you're in some place like that and you say please to somebody, it's like you're basically saying, here, listen, try and shag me or something. It's like, it's pretty brutal. And I was like,
your weakness.
Everybody wants to fight. Why does everybody want to fight me? And then it got us in a lot of trouble. I ended up in the digger and just ruining my time. It frustrates me where people saying, oh, when I was younger, or I done this, or I done that, and I was in jail, and it was a canter, and whatever else. And I was quite in quite a bit of trouble when I was inside. But not because I chose to, it was because people would pick at us, and because I was smaller or whatever else. And I just, when I see young kids coming up now and say, oh, it's all right, you get a PlayStation and what. And I'm thinking, listen, every time I've been in, I never got a PlayStation. Like, they have a program, basic, standard, and enhanced. You start on standard, and if you get in any trouble, if you get in a little fight, if someone starts fighting with you and you hit them back, you go to basic. You go to basic and you stay there for however many weeks. And until you can get to your enhanced, you can't buy a computer. You can't have the good things. You can't have your own bed covers and things like that. So when people are saying all these things, I'm like, it's almost like you're false advertising for these kids to get to jail.
Yeah,
and it's not big and it's not over. And all the guys that say, oh, it was a canter, I'm thinking, if it was that much of a canter, when we were up in front of the governor, why were you crying? Oh, I miss my kids. I'm just like the amount of people that I've spoken to that, and I would never walk by them. I would never walk by anybody, whether I've met them inside or wherever.
Yeah.
I'm not a rude person, and we're all human. We all bleed the same. We're all human. Doesn't matter who we are. It doesn't matter what paths we choose, because like I've lost a lot of my friends through silly mistakes, and I'm just glad, I'm blessed that I never ever went down the road of saying, hey, I'll try a wee bit of these drugs, or I'll do this or I'll do that. I've always kept really healthy, kept myself away from drinking. Now I have drank and stuff, but for a long time I was like, listen, if I don't drink, I keep a better body, I keep a better mind, I'm fresh. Nobody could get under my skin, because if you're drinking, it kind of it gives you that different view. Whereas if you're sober, you have a clear view every time.
Bravado comes out and you take things differently. But if you're sober and you're in control of your emotions, so do you think that was like a protection barrier for yourself, so you weren't going to get yourself into trouble?
Yeah, so I did kind of, I was like, listen, that's where if I do that, it makes a massive difference, and whatever else. Like, I've been stupid things, man, just stupid things that I think, like, how do I manage it? How do I manage to get myself to not 200 so fast? But again, when you're brought up in a scheme, when you're brought up, we've all done it. We've all got that fieriness in we. We're all fighting. Listen. When you got in a wee bit of trouble, you get told, listen, get out there and fight. If someone hits you, go and hit them back. Now, like, you can't. And it's not a fight. It's like people have to use weapons, or they have to go and get their grannies, dogs, uncles, aunties, flipping hamster, and everybody has to go and get everybody involved. And you're like, listen, like it's just mad. It's just mad. And I'm glad that I never have that, like, we have nothing to prove against nobody.
Yeah.
I don't have, I'm really polite. I don't have no animosity. And I know, listen, a lot of people don't like us, or they're jealous of us, or they're bitter about things that's happened 10 years ago or something like that. But it's life. We move on, we grow up. And if you hold a grudge, or if you resent someone or whatever else, like, it's just mad. I just try and, like, I try and care for everybody. I try and help everybody. I try and, like, it almost feels like it's a reward for myself if I can make someone smile. Like, it really does. And it's like you have a picture of a fighter who is meant to be this macho man, who whatever else, and it's like, I don't even see myself as a macho man. I see myself as like a caring father who has this as, it's all I've known. It's all I've known from a young age. I don't know anything else. So
that's cool, man. That's cool. Yeah. Well, around about what age did you realise that obviously fighting and keeping it as a sport to channel your aggression? When was the turning point?
This was so 21. My 21st birthday was my first brutal knockout, and I just someone twigged, and then obviously not long after I started training with Lex, and Lex is quite a tough man. Like, he was 7 times world champion, but he's a really polite man. He's a really humble man. He's a family man. He's just a man that you would always want to be. Every day in the week, you would always want to be him. You would always want to respect him. So
do you think feel like, was he the first person, like, as a male figure in your life, where you thought, here, I respect him enough, like a mentor, like somebody who's took you under his wing?
So yeah, like, he was like a dad, like my real dad. I say my real dad. I still speak to my real dad and stuff. But my real dad lost his dad at a young age. So he's never really had a dad. He was brought up in orphanage and whatever, like, trouble and young offenders and whatever else. And then obviously when my mum and dad split up, I was young, so I was just hitting the teen years. And then my mum's man was a so-called macho man, and I wanted to be that. I believed all these stories. I believed everything that was said and what he had done, and I tried to emulate that. I tried to be that, but I should never have been that, because that's not what I am. I'm a caring person. I'm a caring person who wants to help people, not a person who wants to hurt people.
Yeah.
So for the years, I was going on and I was getting in these troubles, and I was that's the way I would deal with situations with violence, because that's all I knew. And then obviously when Lex had come on the scene, Lex was saying to me, if these guys are letting you go to the club and get into fights, they're not your pals. Your pals don't want you to fight. Your pals want you to have a good night. Your pals want you to enjoy yourself. Your pals don't want you to have enemies and whatever else. And if you're fighting other people's battles, make them pay. Make them pay you to go and fight their battles. Don't you go and I was thinking to myself, like, well, it doesn't even make sense to me. But the more he spoke, the more I realised. And he says to me, why would you go into town, get in a fight, break your hands, not get nothing apart from a wee bit of ego, when you could go in there, bash somebody up, get a nice shiny belt, get plenty of money, feed your family, not go to jail, everything just doesn't make sense. I'm sitting there thinking, this guy's got a point. And I just trained, and always before fights, always remember them in the changing room. And I would just sit down and shut my eyes and lie down. I would have my legs up on the chair. If I lay down there and I had my legs on that chair, nobody would beat me. I just lay there, and he would just talk to me, and he would just say, listen, tonight we're going out there. Tonight we're gonna run this show. This is what we're going to do. And he would talk us through the fight, right? I would visualize it. I would visualize it. I'd visualize it. And then he would be saying, "Oh, maybe it's a big guy, a big tall guy. Oh, and he's gonna pop that front kick out. He's gonna keep you at range. He's gonna keep you at range. He's gonna pop that front kick. But we're just gonna keep on top of him. We're gonna break him down. As soon as that front kick comes, we're gonna bang off the side, straight left, big straight left." And in my head, I had fought already. I had had the fight. So when the ring music comes on and I'm walking to the ring, I've already beat this guy. So I walk into the ring, bash him out in a couple of rounds, and people are like, "Where the hell has this guy come from? Like, how could he just go out there, fight for a world title and knock him out in a couple of rounds? How can he do that?" And it was like, I was then spoke about in the kickboxing circles. So
where do you think that self-belief came from?
I think self-belief is something that everybody always has. Every person has self-belief, but some people have to be reminded or have to be prompted or there has to be triggers there. And I believe that what Lex gave me was that that feeling in the heart where it just lifts you.
Yeah.
It just lifts you above everything. And I just same again. See, when we talk about the training, so from Lex migrated to Australia, and when he migrated to Australia, he says, "Listen, son, be selfish and do what you have to do. Do what's right, because this is a very lonely sport. Do what you have to do." And they words as much, because when he come back, I tried to train, but I was that long distance and whatever else, and he had commitments. He has a big family and stuff, and I felt like I wasn't giving him enough back in return. Because I wasn't getting world title fights. I wasn't getting no money. It was costing me money. And not that he would want the money. He would just want to see me happy. Yeah. But when you have a family, I understand you have to get money. And I just couldn't. And I just didn't feel like he had the same desire, because he had so much else going on around him.
Yeah.
And then obviously I met Terry. I was down sparring with Josh before Josh turned pro. And I remember it was Josh and some other big lad that fought in the Commonwealth, I think he did. I remember going in the first round, and he broke my nose. And when, I don't know if your nose has ever been broken yourself, but listen, it was brutal, right? So I thought,
you see, look at that.
Well, it is a big hoot.
Okay, no.
It is. No, so I felt like my teeth had gone. I felt like my teeth had been punched out of my mouth. But I always had this problem with my septum. My septum was like all pushed over to one side. I had to get an operation. I didn't want to get the operation. So anyway, fight goes on. Round one, breaks my nose. So Lex is saying to me, "Ronald, listen, he's too big for you. You can't do it. He's far too big." No, he's not too big. Round two, blood by this point is like my nose is smashed. Round three comes, and you're just pinging it, man. You just bang, have that, bang. Here, have a wee bit more. And I just, after the third round, they're like, Ashton Brown, that was the other guy. Ashton, and you come. Ashton was like 6 foot tall. So I'm sparring with Ashton, and he just bashed us up for the fourth round. Like, that's you done. So it was before I fought Ryan Walsh. I went in with a fucking broken nose. And oh man, I tell you, it was brutal. And then after it, I was just, why I do it? But that day, I remember coming out the ring, because the septum was so bad, he basically punched it all back in line. I was all pressed on that side, and he basically punched it all back in line. So when I sat down, I was, and I could actually feel it breathing through that side of my nose. And I was like, "You're joking me. He's fixed my nose." And then I goes, "No, he's fixed my nose." And I remember Terry just looking like, "This guy is fucking crazy. This guy is absolutely crazy." And then just after, and then I had a really good bond with Terry after that. Really good. Terry's kind of always been Josh's trainer.
Yep.
And just afterwards, I would always be down. I would always be sparring with the boys and whatever else. And then before I fought Zelfa, Lewis Benson, my sparring partner, who could emulate, who was bigger, who was stronger, who was better. And I said to Lewis, listen, I'm going to work with you for this fight. And obviously, Terry, we've done a lot of work with Terry. And I just felt so good, so good. And it was like, obviously, kind of, because I was based over in Belfast, a lot of the Belfast team had got a lot of the recognition.
Is this going into the Barrett fight?
Going into the Barrett fight, yeah. So I think they thought that the Barrett fight was just going to be one of them. It was just going to come in. I had just come out from a jail sentence and hadn't been fit. Where in fact I was working in the gym. I was training every day. I hadn't punched for so long, so my body was craving punching. My body wanted to punch. I hadn't punched for so long. My muscles were so fresh and so ready. So, like, I just.
They were, I mean, I remember on the build up to the fight and everything like that, they were really blowing smoke up his ass. Like it was like he was just going to turn up and wipe the floor with you. That's basically what they were saying.
It was one of them ones. But I knew, like, so before that fight, I fought Martin J. Ward for the British title.
Yeah,
and
I remember that.
I doubted myself. I doubted myself in the aspect I didn't think that I could fight 12 rounds. 12 3-minute rounds, I thought that's going to be really hard. I don't want to gas out and whatever else. But I doubted myself because I never doubt myself. I never ever doubt myself. And that day, I started the fight 6 rounds. I'm just toying, having fun. I'm just having fun. And then after round 6, I started turning it on a bit. And it was just easy, just really easy. And I'm not saying because Martin J. Ward's a really good fighter, but some fighters don't like fighters. And what I have isn't something that people can be given. You can't train for that. You can't train for any amount of years to kind of have the desire that I have. And I genuinely believe that that's why these promoters don't want me. If I had got beaten badly from Martin J. Ward that night, bang, I would have been cannon fodder for his next one. But they know if I fought Martin J. Ward again, I would beat him 100 times out of 100 times.
Yep.
No disrespect to the boy because I have loads of respect for him. And I'm definitely not a disrespectful person. Like 1,000,000%, I'm not disrespectful. I just know where I am in my life, and I know the desire, the belief, the commitment that I have is more than what anybody has. More than what. And I just, oh man, it's so frustrating. And it's
Let's
like,
go back a wee bit, Ronnie, because you had a couple of dodgy decisions in the run-up. Ken, before you won the title, there was a couple of dodgy decisions that didn't go your way in that as well, mate. Ken?
Yeah, well, a lot of people said after the Martin J. Ward fight, a lot of people says that I was unofficial British champion. At the end of the day, so when you go into a fight thinking that you have to knock somebody out, you're never going to knock that person out. It's really difficult to go in and do that. And I just knew fighting away from home. So when I fought Maxie Hughes, my fourth fight, I think it was, they phoned me up, and I was actually training with Ricky Burns at the time. It was Billy Nelson who was dealing with it, and gets a call, and I'm like, Steffi Bill promotion fighting Maxie Hughes, and I don't follow boxing. I don't care who I'm fighting. I really do not care. I don't care what they fight like. I don't care what they look like, what they act like. I don't care nothing. Yeah. I'll be respectful to them until they're disrespectful to me. I can't pantomime anything. So when I go down, I fight. But on the way down, I can hear them talking on phones. If your man comes in shape, the fight's off, and they're having a laugh. And this is the promoter speaking to my trainer at the time. And I'm thinking, something doesn't ring true. Yeah. You come into the changing rooms, and obviously he's got a big ass follow. And it tells me that I'm only there for a payday. And I'm thinking, I'm not here for a payday. Yeah. I'm here to bash this guy up. And I say, you beat this guy tonight, you'll never fight in one of these promotions again. And I goes, fair play. I'll do that then, right? So people talk about how, like, boxing or whatever else. I went and busted him up. And only 4 rounds, and it was Howard Foster who was refereeing at the end of the fight. He raised both over hands. I'm thinking, what part of a draw was that?
Yeah.
That wasn't a draw. And his fans after the fight were coming up to me and saying, "You won that, mate. You won that."
Got robbed.
So after that, I then got in the mindset, listen, if I'm going to fight these people, I have to knock them out. I have to go in and knock them out. And just doesn't serve you well because you're resenting, you're holding resentment, you're holding anger, you're holding emotions that don't need to be there.
Yeah.
So I went on and then I fought and I fought and I fought and had these decisions that could have been if it was in a home show or if it was in Scotland, it would have went my way, whatever else. And then obviously I went through all that carry on with my ex, and then I wasn't seeing my kids, and then obviously I had this call up about the Kakachi fight, and I'm like, yeah. So I went and fought him, and I never fought him on any. I was late for the weigh-in because I was in the sauna from 9 in the morning, in the Olympia sauna from 9 in the morning till in the sauna. When I say in the sauna, not out the sauna. They were bringing in water and I was just pouring water in my mouth to make us feel hydrated. I went to that weigh-in like a zombie and fought 10 rounds and I got stopped with 10 seconds to go in the 10th round. Stopped. I'd never been knocked down in my career, never in sparring. Brutal kicks to the head and shook them off like it was none. And then obviously I got stopped in that fight. But I know what I did wrong and I would never do that wrong again. All I done there was learn from my mistakes. I prepared wrong, and if you fail to prepare, you prepare to fail.
Yeah.
And all these things, all these little things that people would go back and kick themselves for and whatever else. Kakachi would never stop me again. I know 1,000,000%. In the early rounds, he was thinking to himself, "Get me out of here," and I know that for a fact, and he knows that for a fact. So again, I have nothing bad to say about him. I'm a bit frustrated at the fact that Anthony Kakachi's British title defence is against the guy who's coming off a loss. I think that's not really boxing. Like it's so unreal, and it makes me think, listen, should I take that step away? Should I walk away from boxing? But as soon as I walk away, I'm making it easy. And then obviously we'll have Eddie Hearn talking about mental health and whatever else. He's like, "Oh, I'm talking about mental health, back in mental health, share this post or whatever else." But he's ignoring somebody who's clearly got mental health and
desperate to get back in there.
Yeah, just won't even answer. I would never do that to anybody. And it's not that I'm slating him, because I'm definitely not slating him. I'm not slating anybody. I just want to fight to prove that I'm better, or if I'm not better, like they could be up your son.
Yeah.
Like you had your chance.
Do you think, like, right throughout your career, Ronnie, even back as far as like in the kickboxing and that, like you take your biggest lessons through your losses?
Yeah, 1,000,000%. Not even 100%, 1,000,000%. Like all they've done is taught me that little bit more. Like when people say you don't lose, you learn.
Yeah.
I take that to I take that feeling to my heart, but I don't necessarily believe it for a lot of people, because a lot of people just say that as a cover up, just to accept defeat.
Yeah.
Whereas it doesn't make me feel any better about losing. It really doesn't make me feel any better about losing. But when I am learning and I'm actually taking something from it, like it's just
because it's easy enough to today, as you say, come on, I mean, just use it as a cover up and just come back exactly the same person. Whereas if you are taking them wee bitties and saying, "Well, wait a minute, I've got to adjust here. I've got to."
Yeah, I'm glad that you've sorted that out, because sometimes when I speak, I don't really feel like I'm saying what I'm trying to say. Basically, you just kind of said exactly what I was trying to say. I should have maybe done school a wee bit better.
Yeah, we're dead brilliant, mate. I'm loving this. Loving it. So let's go into the Barrett fight, mate. So let's talk about the weigh-in, because surely you must have put him off the fight turning up with that thong on.
See what? All my fights, I weigh in and whack. But I don't weigh in. It's not for intimidation. People are like, oh, that must be intimidating or whatever else.
I think it's cool, mate. I think it's cool.
I just feel comfortable. I remember before I fought Martin G. Ward, right? See, when I took my trousers off, I was wearing a pair of boxers or a pair of shorts or something. And I remember everybody looking as if to say, what the hell's just happened here? And then I whipped them off, and then I had a pair of undies on, or I thought whatever I had on. And everybody's just like laughing. But I don't, like, I can't, it's not that I get into character or anything like that. It's actually just my mind takes over. My mind actually takes over. I don't script what I'm going to do. I actually don't. People, if my manager had said to me, listen, Ronnie, I want you to do this, I want you to say this or whatever else. I'm like, I'll try because I'm going to try, but I can't do it. And then at the weigh-in, he said I was going to get knocked out in 4 rounds. And I was sitting thinking to myself, you're not going to knock me out in 4 rounds. And just he had a smug face, and he was like looking at us and breathing on us, and he was like, he had dehydrated breath, like he had really bad dehydrated breath. So I took my chewing gum out and tried to put my chewing gum in his mouth, and he's like, "You're a disrespectful little." And I was like, "Man, I'm not disrespectful." So obviously, when the Barrett one happened, I was like, he was just because he's quite a confident guy. And he's like, he's in my face, and he had nice fresh breath, and I was like, oh, your breath smells better than G Ward's. And he just like, it wasn't that funny. But
I've got a visitor. Right, come on, hurry up, say hi, and then you can go. She likes making a reappearance, mate. This is Blossom, by the way.
Hello, how are you?
Saying hi.
Hi.
His name's Ronnie.
Ronnie.
All right, give me a kiss. Oh, love you. All right, off you pop. Close the door.
Mm-hmm.
She likes making a reappearance when I've got a live on, mate.
I love it.
Right, come on then, hurry up.
Look at my bracelet.
That's a bracelet, Ronnie.
Oh, that is beautiful. It's lovely. I love it.
Door, please.
Brilliant.
Sorry, mate.
Yeah, that's what life's about.
So on you go. Sorry, man. Interrupted you.
Where was it at? I don't even know. So yeah. I just again. I was just never really had no bad blood with the guy. He's a nice boy. I actually have respect. I have respect for every fighter. Fighting's it's not a game that you can play. It's a real game, and he works hard. But we're different. We're a different breed. We're a complete different breed. And like I know 1,000,000%, there's nothing that man could do to beat me. Nothing. So like when he said something like, I kind of feel like he's disrespecting and saying, "Oh, he had 2 weeks' notice for that fight and blah blah blah, a proper camp." And what he thinks is, "Oh, if I had to box him at range, I would box his head off."
Yeah.
But he wouldn't. He would never box me at range. He could never box me at range. He could never box me at range. I know exactly what he does, and I know not that I would try and knock him out, because I wouldn't try and knock anybody out, because again, when we talk about the lessons, I know that I knock him unconscious. I know I knock him unconscious. So, and it is, they know that I knock him unconscious, and it's no disrespect. It's 1,000,000%. Like I really think the guy's doing really well and whatever else, but saying, "Oh, he's improved in his fights," he's fought much lesser men.
Yeah.
He's not fought me. He's not fought me again. Like when I fought Jordan McCrory, that was my worst performance to date. And he thinks, oh well, he got Jordan McCrory out there, and obviously it took me 10 rounds to get him out there.
Yeah.
And I'm just thinking, like, styles make fights.
Yeah.
That's what a lot of people just don't. They don't really get into their head. They think, oh, because he fought this one and he done that one, and that was exactly like when I fight a journeyman. I never try and knock him out. I think, like, why would I try and take someone's wages away from them? Because if I knock them out, they're not fighting for longer, and their kids are not getting fed.
What is the deal with that, Ronnie? If they do get knocked out, they're not going to fight for 4 weeks or something, is it? Or even longer?
30-day. I think it's a 30-day medical suspension. Depending on how bad it is. If it's quite a bad knockout, they have to go back and get do the medicals through the board, which is nearly £1,000 in total for it all. So, and this is my position, because obviously at the moment where I stand, it costs a lot of money. I don't have a manager, right? So if I was to self-manage, it would cost me £300, and then it's £166 for a license, and then it's near £700 for your brain scans, your blood tests, whatever else. So it's stupid money.
A lot of money just to get the ball rolling, eh?
And yeah, but listen, I would get that. I would make that happen if I had something lined up.
Yeah,
like I would make something happen, but I'm in a position now where I don't know. Like, I don't have a manager, I don't have a promoter, I don't have a trainer.
Yeah.
I do my own little bit myself. I have big Semtex who helps us out. But this is the time. This is the time for these people to take me. This is the time. If people think that they can beat me, this is the time to try and beat a man at his very, very worst, at his very, very lowest.
Because you've been out the ring for the last 2 years. You've obviously came back for a back operation. You didn't have a manager. You didn't have a training camp. Everything like that is in there. So anybody who is in waiting.
And the emotions, what they've got here, the emotions, which they know they're doing. They know they're playing with my emotions. But
You mentioned there as well, Ron, kind of like getting a brain scan and things like that before the fights. Well, you're probably like the first to like a good wee generation, a great generation that's come through in Dundee, because I mean, going back before yourself, Dundee had like a black hole of years where there wasn't very many boxers who came through.
Yeah.
And then obviously Mikey Till, now Paul Keen's got a European title shot, which is coming up as well. You've got young Sam Hickey coming through as well. So it's like there's a good wee squad of fighters.
I think at the moment, personally, Sam Hickey is the talent, and I hope that he stays on the right track. Like, I've seen him out a few times when I've been out with the boys, and obviously I'm always in the car, so I kind of just keep an eye. And I don't say that it's drinking's like no, because you have to live. Because I don't drink doesn't mean that other people. But he has his head screwed on. His dad's a nice guy. His dad helps him out and has helped him out a lot. He's got a good team around him. Team Scotland, they're doing really well at the moment with an amateur setup. And I've tried to say to him a few times, please don't turn pro until the doors are opened. Whether that means Commonwealth Games and Olympics, something. And it's hard because amateur boxing is quite that. Your face has to fit as well. It's hard to get in the setup. But he's in the setup. He's doing well. He's travelling the world. And I just hope that he doesn't just get a bad decision in the amateurs and then turn pro when he doesn't need to do that, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And I try and say that I wish that I turned professional a bit earlier, because I kind of come from kickboxing.
Yep.
I went to the board and I actually said, listen, I want to turn professional at boxing. And they laughed at us. And I was like, listen, I'm world kickboxing champion. And they're like, and I was like, I've done quite well. I've fought for a long time. And they goes, no, when you fight, you have to go to the novice championships. And I'm thinking, the novice championships? And I said, I'm not doing that. So I think my first fight was against a boy called Michael Stupart. And he was an amateur that he was like knocking a lot of amateurs out. And he was like quite a hardy guy. and I went and fought him and just picked him apart.
Yeah.
I won that fight, and then off the back of that, I was like, oh, I'm going to fight in the Scottish. But they made us fight in the novice championships, and I was like, so the first day I went along, I felt like I was bullying. It was like a sparring session, but like with people that I should never have been sparring with. So that happened the first day. And then my last fight that day, I was fighting a guy, and I was just kind of dancing about because I had landed quite a few shots, I had scored a lot of points, and I just didn't want to give unnecessary punishment because at the end of the day, it's a sport. And the referee pulled us over. He was like, "Whoa, time out." He says, "Listen, son, this is a boxing competition, not a dancing competition." And I never even put my guard up. I just walked up my corner, just thrown a big right hand, clocked the guy, knocked him down the corner, threw the towel, and that was over. So obviously, the following day, it was Michael Stupart in the final, and he was. I didn't want to go through it. I didn't want. Everybody was speaking about us. I was wearing a poncho. I was the only guy who come up to the ring with a poncho on, and they're like, "Has anybody seen that guy with a poncho on? He's a complete animal." And I was just like, you can hear everybody speaking, but yeah, you don't want to hear it. So I says to Lex, Lex, I can't do this. I can't go. I feel like a bully. And then Michael Stupart had put someone in hospital that day. One of his fights put someone in hospital and says that I was getting that in the finals. And I was like, not a chance. So I think it was Bebo or something at the time. That's how long ago it was.
Yeah,
I was like, no chance. This guy is not knocking me out. So I got up in the morning, right? And when I'm so unpredictable, I was like, man, I'm going there. So I just went through. It was in Carden Den. Go through. I didn't have a trainer. I didn't, because Lex was in Paisley. I didn't want to say to him, come through. And you have to have a corner's badge to do someone's corner. And Pat McElhinney, the guy's name is. Pat McElhinney was it. And I says, excuse me, mate. I says, you got a corner's license? And he's like, yeah. And I says, is there any chance you can do my corner for me today? And he's like, son, I don't even know you. And I goes, oh, sorry, we got off on the wrong beat. It goes, I'm Ronnie, nice to meet you. And I said, so now, will you do my corner? And he just started laughing. And he goes, I don't know how you train, whatever else. What, you need a warm up or what? Have you got your head guard? And I says, I don't actually own a head guard. And I think he was just thinking at that point, like, what am I doing? And obviously everybody's talking about this guy. So anyway, it goes on. So before the fight, he's like, you need pads or that? And I was like, I'll just use the first round as a warm up. And he's like, what? And I goes, yeah, no, just use that. He says, so what am I actually doing? I said, just give us water in between the rounds. So the first round, right, gets in the ring. First round goes out and I'm bashing him, puts him down for a count. The referee's like, where the fuck is this guy come from? Goes back to the corner, and that part's like, well done, son. That's good. You don't know what the hell you do, but just keep on doing what you're doing. So second round, Dave just in there, just moving about, boxing, moving, comes back, third round, and I goes, I could stop him. And he's like, no, listen, just keep doing what you're doing, son. Don't get involved in a war. That's what his style of fight is. Just keep doing what you're doing. And I goes, no, I'll stop him. And he's like, he's just looking at us, and he's like, what the hell? And then, like, I knew Stupart liked the big right hand. So he threw in a big right hand as I just ducked underneath it and just jarred him on the chin. And he just went facing the canvas. He jumped up. The referee obviously stopped it. He jumped up and his glove was off, throwing his glove at us. And he's like, you're a right cocky cunt, are you? And I goes, I can afford to. I just stopped you, didn't I? Oh, man, it was. And then afterwards, I sparred with him afterwards and stuff. And just because he was a good fighter, a tough fighter, but he ended up a journeyman. And it's a shame because that's kind of what Up This End does. Everybody just ends up journeyman. Whereas I couldn't let somebody beat me. I physically couldn't let somebody beat me. And I think to myself, well, if I did fight as a journeyman, I could fight these guys and not get knocked out and get paid and be able to feed my family and look after my family and whatever else. Should I take the risk? But I'm such a true person that I believe that it's about being true and being honest and giving people, like, boxing's an entertainment business. It's about giving people the entertainment. That's what boxing is. It's about the best supposedly
When
fighting.
you're a winner, mate, when you're a winner, when it's bred inside you, and that's something that you've got, mate. You've always had it. You don't want to you didn't just want to turn up and just like chuck a towel in.
Yeah, no, I think the towel's my worst nightmare. We don't need a towel today. Keep that towel in the dressing room. But it's one of them ones. It's a tough game, and there's been loads of people that have been there. Like, obviously before all this, obviously the operation and that, like, I was signed with Mark Dunlop over in Belfast, and it was great because I was away from everybody. I just had my own wee space and had a good wee crowd of people in Belfast. We'd all meet in the gym every night and do my wee workouts and do my yoga and whatever else, and it was good. Like, the Avalon clinic over there, they would treat us like a king. I would be like, oh, listen, I'm really tight. I'm needing my back moved or something moved. And they would literally just, they would put everybody aside to get us in. And I'm just like, I don't have none of that here. Like, I don't have Emma Brennan, like, sports physio over there. Like, she would just be like, oh, Ronnie, listen, I'll try and get you squeezed in. How are you? And whatever else. Like, you don't speak to them for months. I never speak to them. And then they're just like, oh, are you over? Yeah, come down, just get down and see us. And I just mean, like, that's where, like, with the Irish, I love the Irish and the Scottish are really alike. They are. It's so mad. It is. And I actually feel really at home when I'm over there. Like, I drive into Belfast and I just feel like I'm driving around Dundee. I really do.
Will you go back there for another Champ Ronnie?
I'm not sure what I'm going to do because I would love to be training with Terry again. Like, my dream. So I says to myself, I would never, if I was to come back to boxing, I would never fight unless Terry was there.
Yeah.
Terry's the man who, so I don't even know if it's a saying or whatever else, but you have, like, the man behind the monster, and Terry's the man behind the monster.
Yeah.
And that's where it's like he doesn't even realise, because he's such a laid back gentleman, nice guy, that he doesn't even. But what I feel in Terry is what Lex gave me in the kickboxing world, and it's like just a man. And like every gym that you go into, right? You always gyms are full of fighters, but fighters are full of love. Like, it's mad because you always associate a fighter as a violent man.
Yeah.
And listen, in Edinburgh, when I'm in the gym in Edinburgh, I swear I could cuddle every single one of them. Every single one of them has just pure care, pure passion. It's just real. It's not. There's no fakeness, and it's the same in Dundee. You have a lot of it in Dundee. You have a lot of the gyms. It's like your own little family. Like, whatever gym you're in, it's like your own your wee fighting family, and that's part of why probably I feel with fighting. I feel that, like, when I was training in Edinburgh, I lived in the gym. My bed, I go up to my bedroom, pull my bed out of the wall, and then bang, that's my bed. Have my Marvin Hagler gloves up on the wall, and my TV, just lie down, chill, watch a TV. Gym time, up, down for a gym session, back up the stairs, chill out. When the amateurs come in at night, I'd be down doing a workout with them, chatting with them, and you're always learning. Like, you're always learning. And I just, like, I miss all that. I miss, like, it's a massive part of it. It's a massive part of being around that scene. So
in that environment every day, waking up, getting after it.
Yeah, sure.
What was it like winning the title, Ronnie? What did it feel like?
Wow. Well, a night, like, I knew I was going to win. I knew I was going to win or I was going to die. I knew that that's what was made for me that night, and I've seen it so many times. I just seen it so many times, what was happening, where it was going, what I was doing.
Yep.
And I just, like, obviously when we got to the end of the fight, and obviously the scorecards got read out, and I think the second judge scored a draw, and it actually reminded of us one of my fights in America where I had got robbed. I just reminded us, and you actually see my face like, here goes again. They're going to call it a majority draw. But listen, what I appreciate so much with the IBF is the IBF are really strict on their judging. They're really good. So the two foreign judges who didn't know any of it give it exactly how they seen it, which were the exact same scorecards. Had me winning by, I think it was maybe 5 rounds or 4 rounds or so, I think. And the British judge gave it the draw. And I think to myself, like, what part of a draw did that guy see? Because there wasn't a draw there. There wasn't. And I think if you watch the video, so round 6 I dropped him quite heavily, and then round 7 I taken round 7 off, and then I come back to the corner, and the corner actually say, "Come on, Ronnie, what the fuck are you doing? Like, you give him that round." And I go, "Yeah, that's right, I give him that round. Watch the next one," and then come on to the next one, and I was telling his corner what I was going to do. Like, at one point, I went over banging ropes. I said, "Listen, boys, watch this." They were saying, "Oh, he's there for a left hook, get a left hook to the body." And I was, "Watch me counter this." Went over bang rope, watch me counter this, and went and done exactly what I says I was going to do. Frank Warren was out of his seat going mental, and I'm just thinking, listen, why would you go mad at me? Because I believe I'm a very good product in this business. Because, like, I feel like I'm a real life Rocky movie. I actually feel like I'm real life. And if people knew, like, half of my life, like I had been going to psychotherapy for the last 4 years. Never ever let on to nobody. I just went around there and feel massive benefits in my life from obviously trying to understand myself more and whatever else, and trying to understand people and dealing with confrontation and it's just everything. It's like people obviously always see a person that's, oh, they're popular, they've got a lot going for them with their career or whatever else, but they don't see like the unhappiness that some people carry, that just for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Like,
sometimes they don't know why they've got it.
Yeah, and that's part of what I was going through. So, but yeah.
I mean, obviously, after you won the title, you had planned to come back and make your first defence, and the fight fell through. And then you can see your belt behind you, which is obviously proudly still in your possession, mate.
Oh man, that was a low point in my life where I had nothing. I had fell outside my house and broken my hand. Where I just got the house and there was a pothole outside. I fell in the street and broke my hand. So I lost all on a wage for a fight that I was relying on. I had paid $6,000 in preparation towards a fight that fell through, and just I was left with nothing. And I was like, how the hell am I going to live my life, pay my debts, and feed my family and have a Christmas? How am I? And I just thought, listen, if I sell my belt, like, that'll, and some people send some lovely messages like, oh, I'll buy the belt and you can buy it back when you're back on your feet for the same amount and whatever else. Some people were really caring and whatever else. And there was like a GoFundMe page started up, which the guy actually kept the money himself, which is pretty brutal if I'm honest.
Is that? What happened?
So the guy started a GoFundMe page. I didn't even know who he was. He started the GoFundMe page and he raised however much money. And he said that the money never got transferred into his account. It'll be transferred over by this date. And he kept the money. And I felt like shaming him. Because it's disgusting to steal from. I kind of felt like he was stealing.
Especially from the situation that you were in, mate. Do you know what I mean? Getting your private possession, you were putting online.
But Tommy Coyle come in and he goes, listen, I'll give you £1,000 if you keep the belt, and I'll at that point £1,000 didn't matter. See the message that he sent. I mean, I cried for days, and then had just so many people just rallying around us and helping us, and John Bruce, one of my sponsors, come on, and he just says, listen, can I help you? And he did. Like, there were so many people that come out, and Billy Nelson, he come and give us some money to help us out. It was so nice that people actually like just reached out, and it was all the boxing community. There was a lot of other people as well, but the boxing community just helped us, and it just made it feel like you actually matter. You're not just that figure that for fighting. You actually matter as a person.
Yeah.
And see, having that belt, honestly, it's like
tell us about Tommy Coyle message, Ronnie.
I was just like, he was telling us, like, obviously I'll regret if I get rid of that belt, I'll regret getting rid of the belt. And think of when your son's older in years to come, like, and his dad was this champion, he got rid of it. And I was like, real. It's like a man to a man.
Yeah.
So it's like you realise. So
yeah.
But yeah, it was just so many nice people and real people. And I'm proud to say, like, although it's mine, it's his. So like Clay loves it, like he does. It's like the other night I'd done a wee live video. I'm trying to get used to this whole social media thing, so whatever. I don't know. And he was lying in the bed, and he puts the belt on his knees, and it's quite heavy. You wouldn't believe how heavy the belts are. And he's up with it, and he's trying to get it off his legs, and he's like putting it up beside his shoulder and everything. And I'm just like, that just can't give you any more happiness.
Yeah,
you can't. When you see your kid just so happy, there's nothing that means more. And like, I feel bad because obviously Clay has one and Mannix doesn't, but it's just a matter of time. So, like, again, I just say, like, I have the opportunities. All I want is the opportunities, and I'll do the rest.
Yeah. So what else can you do, Ron, to get that next shot, to get yourself back in the ring?
I'm not sure the whole situation, how I'm going to get about this as yet. Like, I could go on and fight a couple of journeymen, get myself back in position, and build myself up where the board forced the fight to happen. I just don't really know. I just think that whatever promoter should come forward, and there's so much talent out there in the super featherweight division. Like John O'Carroll, MTK put a post on the other day saying, "Who's next for John O'Carroll?" So I messaged saying me. I ignored it. And I'm like, man, it's an easy fight. I don't have a manager or a promoter. All I have to do is get licensed up, and we can make the fight happen. I think a lot of people will be, because of what happened in the Barrett fight, though, Ronnie. I think a lot of people will be thinking that it's a risk. You know, do you don't think that yourself? They don't think it's a risk. They know it's a risk, and it's big-headed or whatever. It's not that I'm big-headed. I know where I am at, and that's what the problem is. A happy fighter is a dangerous fighter, and when I'm in there, like, the smile isn't any more than happiness.
Yeah.
Like, people say I smile because I'm hurt or I'm smiling because whatever. I smile because I'm in my happiest place.
Yeah.
And it's like, my brother put a sparring clip on the other day, and I'm sparring with like a highly ranked fighter. And it's like I just go in and have fun. And people are like, you must be sparring with nobody.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, this guy is really, really good. So, and I'm just deceiving. People don't realize how hard I hit. And because I don't have a lot of stoppages on my record, they think, oh, well, he doesn't. doesn't hit hard. But reality tells a story, and obviously one of the persons you could take from that is obviously Tyson Fury. They say that Tyson Fury's got big pillows in his hands, but if you look at what he just done to Deontay Wilder there, you can't. Some things that you just can't be taught. Some things you just have, and that, like, I kind of relate myself a lot to Tyson Fury and things that he's done, and the young lad.
It's going off in mine. I mean, the story of Tyson Fury is just like unbelievable, man. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
But here, you get back in the ring, Ron, you're going to hear a story just very similar.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. It is when, and that's like, I'm actually like, I sat and spoke to my wife about it. It says, would you be willing if I went to America? Would you be willing to deal with that? Because essentially it's to make my family's life better.
Yeah.
But not in the aspect of money or anything, in the aspect of the feeling. Because I don't feel me at the moment. I don't fully feel me. And I feel like it could affect life. I could be much happier, and I could create a better home and a better family and better kids and just everything. Like, I feel like fighting's been a massive part of me for a long time in my life, and it still is a massive part. I'm not willing to just walk away and say, no, I'm finished, I'm done. Like, I can't. I physically can't. My body just won't say, like, yeah, you're done. Like, and a lot of fighters do have that problem where they stay in the game for too long and they get themselves really badly hurt.
Yeah.
But what I believe as well is I never had the long amateur career. I never had the punishment. Like, a lot of fighters at my age, when they're speaking, they slur the words and they're not fully there. And it is a really demanding sport. Like, getting punched in the head is demanding for anything. Like, it's not. But like, it's what I know and it's what I love. So so I'm just.
I know you were close to Mickey Till, Ronnie. How does that? Like, how did that situation make you feel being a fighter? Obviously, being so close.
It was, yeah. We actually, me and some of the boys from the gym, we actually watched the fight on our phones, and I was fighting that weekend, so I had just been in the gym, and then I had went outside, and then I had done my swimming, and then we sat at the poolside and just watched the fight. He was doing amazing, really good, on top. Like, obviously, early knockdown and massively tough fight for any fighter. But for what happened that night was just devastating. Like, devastating for families, for boxing, for obviously the opposition family and stuff. Just such a horrible, worst case situation that could ever happen, and it's not something that happens all the time in the sport. I was just gutted, and I remember because it was like a midweek fight, or it was a weeknight fight, and I was fighting on a Saturday night, and I couldn't think, because I didn't want to upset anybody, I didn't want to disrespect anybody by fighting. When something so crucial has happened, and I was thinking, but if I don't fight now, I might never fight again. This might really damage me and stop me. And I've got to understand that bad things happen in life. And I was just so gutted. I was really so gutted, and it was like my fans and Mikey's fans would always have like a bit of rivalry and whatever else. So even though we were like totally different weight divisions and whatever else, it's a bit. But there's no words that can explain how sickening a situation like that is. And I know, like, just obviously the press didn't help things and whatever else. I just think, like, who could listen to press stories? Like, wow, God help.
Yeah.
But and like, it's always going to be.
Back in the ring, Ronnie.
So you saw that?
Did that ever give you like the thought of being a wee bit fearful to get back in the ring?
It never really given me a fear. It was more a respect thing. I didn't want to fight on the feeling of respect.
Yeah.
As a fighter, like I would be willing to die in a fight. I would actually. I know a lot of people say like I'm willing to die or whatever else, and I know a lot of people don't mean it. And it's sad to say, like I have young kids and whatever else. I would be willing to die in a fight. I really would. And it's like
Yeah.
Mikey had that same hunger. I remember sparring with Mikey,
Yeah.
and like I punched a hole in his lip. I think he got like 5 stitches in his mouth, and he continued sparring, right? And every time I hit him in the face, the blood was pumping out his mouth, like a lot of blood. And I remember like he stayed in for the full amount of rounds, 6 rounds that I was doing that day. He stayed in for the full amount. And then the following night, he come in and I says, Mikey, can you please give me some more rounds? Because I was fighting a tough fighter and I wanted tough rounds because he was a tough man.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm not allowed. You know, he's just brilliant, honestly. Just the way he, like, so clumsy. He's like, I'm not allowed. And he goes, what is your mum not letting you? And he's like, how do you go to the hospital yet? And he like fills his lip up and he's got like these stitches in his lip. I was like, you burst my lip, you stud. And I was like, he's just so funny. But it's like,
yeah, I think what you're saying as well, man. Whereas you've got to leave it all in there if you're going to be the best, if you're going to get to the absolute pinnacle of the sport. And I think the people who are the absolute pinnacle of the sport, the world champions, and that you've got to be that mentality, surely, Ronnie.
Yeah, 100%. You have to be, not that you want to be,
of course.
Because that's why you work so hard. You work so hard so that doesn't happen.
Yep.
And in bad case scenarios, like worst, something, you know that something like that could happen. But like I would never want, if God forbid, if anything ever happened to me in a fight, I would never want my family to be down. And of course it's family and they're going to be down. I would want my family to understand that, like, that's my love. Like, that's my desire. Like, that's my, like, there's no, like, I love my kids to pieces. Like, no words could say how much I love my kids. And I love it's a different feeling. It's not the same feeling. And it's not, like, I'm not disrespecting, like, my kids or my wife in any kind of way. It's a different feeling, and my wife understands that when I say this. Like, I do. I love her, and I love my kids. I love fighting. And
you're right, mate. Listen, here it's the same battles I've had over the years as well. Ken, it's like you kind of look externally for what ignites you internally. Ken, it's something that's got to come from within. That's going to light up your life, and it's can you 100%. You've got it with your fighting. And it's right now we're in a position where you're in a position where it's the opportunities are coming. So what can we do? How can we help? Because I'm just thinking, like, you need to create a post on your Instagram or on your Facebook where you're following, and we need to get people to like start tagging Eddie Hearn or something, just to get it shared across all platforms, mate, so that just to show that you've got a big support, you've got a following, people want to see you fight and like get you on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, see, I have always had a good following, and that's what frustrates us, right? So, like, Alpha Barrett puts an interview and he gets flipping 10 follows, and I put an interview and I get thousands of follows, and I'm like, what's this promoter looking at? Like, what's this promoter looking at? The guy's a nobody. Like, the guy is frustrating. Like, so not about the ticket sales. It's nothing to do with the ticket sales. Is it because I'm too outspoken and I say it exactly how it is? Yeah. Like, what, do you want to bite my tongue and not say exactly how things are? Like, I just don't get it, and I wish sometimes I could be a little bit more like hold back a lot of what I say, but I'm just so true, and I just say it exactly how it is. And it's not that I mean to offend anybody, because I definitely don't. I don't mean to offend anybody. I just try and be honest. I try and speak what I think, and try and
And I think that comes across. I think that comes across, and I think that's how people can relate to you so much. Do you know what I mean? Definitely.
I know, yeah. Well, I do it. My like my times, like when I'm out and stuff, and I see young kids and stuff, and they're all wanting to have a chat or whatever else, and they're scared to come over, or I go to the boxing gym, they're scared to approach us, and I'm just thinking, guys, go over here. Or like when I'm in the gym with my girl, and I'm like, get that on your shoulder, man. Get that wrapped around you. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just so. I'm such a home person. I'm so, even though I don't speak Dundonian or whatever, I'm so Dundonian. I'm so skinny. I'm such a chav. Like I am. Like, people think I'm all this upper class Irishman or something, and I'm like, I heard all this. The last one, I was like, I sounded Irish or something, and I'm thinking to myself,
you mate, when the twang kicking right in.
I'm a member of the Shishams. Like, but that's like like it is. I'm like, I never forget where I've come from. Like, there was 5 of us. We used to get 50 pence to go with the ice cream van between 5 of us. 5 packets of Frosties. Honestly,
speaking about that,
I never got bus money to go to school. I used to hang on the back handle of the bus and have my foot on the exhaust. One of my shoes had a melted sole. Right? There's no word of a lie. Like, it sounds funny, but I'm like, used to get on at the police station, the Long Hall police station, to go to St Saviour's, and like, I never forget this. Like, I'm a complete thinky, and I don't care. I'm proud. Like, I remember I used to try and get like my mates. I'd be like, oh, jump on the back of the bus. There's 2 handles. I'm like, yeah, but you've got the exhaust side. And I'd be, no, you get to the exhaust side. And I'd be hanging on with one handle, my arm wrapped around the side of the bus, with my toe tucked under the bottom of the bus to make sure that I didn't fall off going around the bend. And man, I loved it. Like, I loved the years.
Mate, they were the best. They were some of the best times, man.
Yeah, it is, and it is. It's like I'll never forget where I come from, and it's like it's mad because I've been brought up in Fintry, and I kind of hung about in Whitfield kind of through my kind of middle years, and I moved to Whitfield, and it's like I nip into maybe like the Dolphin, or I nip into the clubby, whatever it's called now,
the Tav,
and the Tav, yeah, the Tav. And actually, I was out for a cycle with the Tav, and I forgot what they were called. That's bad. Yeah, but no, I go and I still call it the clubby, and like guys from Fintry are arguing with guys from Whitfield. Ah, he's a Fintry boy. Nah, he's a Whitfield boy. And I just sitting thinking, man, listen, you're a stone throw away from each other. Why are you fighting over what boy you are, man? I'm just a guy. Just a Fintry's finest. Nah, he's a Whitfield boy. And I'm just like, man, get me out of here. Then you go to Dolphin and then hit it again. And I'm just thinking, man, if I had to be drinking, this would be brutal. This would be a recipe for disaster.
Brilliant.
Yeah, no.
Well, Ron, do you know what I'm going to do, mate, right? Because we've got a good few people on. I'm going to open up for some questions. And there's been comments coming in as well. So if anybody's got a question, fire away in the comments right now and I'll get them over to Ron because he can't see them. It's only me who could see them. And I'll scroll through some of them because there's already a couple came up that made us giggle while I was seeing them. So,
oh no.
So there's quite a lot. So here we go. Here we go.
Before we start,
ask Ronnie about his football career.
Listen, I've got the best throwing in that league.
Aaron Ogilvie.
Azzy boy, how are you?
So talk me through it, Ron.
Well, I'm not proud, it's not big, and it's not clever, right? never really had much of a football career. I got took down to Hampden and I got banned from football for some bizarre reason, right? I got in a few altercations on the football park and never let my feet do the talking. I let my hands do the talking. Seemingly that's what happens. I wasn't very good at when people pull your shorts and say, let's wait till after the game. And I'm like, wait till after the game. Let's just do it now. So, football, I've soon learned that football isn't my sport, but my throwing, if you've ever seen my throwing, I had the best throwing in the amateur football league. By far.
Ronnie, that's some claim to fame.
I do, Bo.
We've just got lots of comments, people saying, like, we wish you all the best for the future. Can't wait to see you back in the ring. What else have we got? More people saying, need to ask him about his football career. There's people saying, you're such a motivator. Great comments, mate. And people are seeing how empathetic you've been with some of the comments that you were saying earlier on as well.
Thank you.
Ronnie, you're not just a fighter in the ring, kid. You're a fighter in life. Fact. Brilliant.
I like that.
So, what else have we got? People are actually giving you praise for your throwing. The running somersault.
God knows the call that a foul fall sometimes.
How do you become a member of the She-Shams?
Oh, I'm not sure how that ever happened.
Is that your own hair?
Between your legs and squeeze tight.
Is that your own hair?
Well, listen, rumours have it that it's a hair transplant, but mate, when you could wear a hairband,
okay, here's one. Joshua or Fury? And why?
Okay. So, I'd be willing to gamble my house on this one, and Eddie Hearn's definitely not going to sign us now. But Fury sparks Joshua. I like Joshua. Joshua is a good fighter. Styles, when we talk about these styles for fights, Joshua won't land that right hand. 1,000,000% won't land the right hand. Fury will pick the head off him, take him apart, and then after round 6, take him to school and stop him. Like, I think they know it, and that's why the fight's never happened. But listen, it'd be a great fight, great for British boxing.
100 million each.
Well, I mean, I'll be lucky if we get $2,000. To fight on undercard, yeah.
So if you're going for Fury,
Say that?
You're going for Fury after 6 rounds?
After 6 rounds, yeah.
Brilliant.
Fury
So the brother's on here as well, mate. He's ask him about the cut on his hip.
Well, Jamie decided that he was going to be a kickboxer and done some sparring with us down in Energy, preparing for his first fight that we actually never eventually got. He threw a turning kick and then bam, right on my hip. Blood coming from my hip bone. He split my hip open. But maybe ask him what happened on the receiving end after that shin kick happened to him. He got done from his big brother once again.
Smack. Brilliant.
After he done that to us, right? I've thrown like a 4 or 5 punch combination, finished with a turning kick, and he tried to duck out the way a turning kick, and my shin like actually wrapped around his teeth. I was sitting in myself, money. My brother's going to have no teeth, but give him his due. He didn't like. He's got pretty big teeth anyway, but it was brutal.
They were needing a trim.
I know, yeah.
Well, Ronnie, here, it's been an absolute blast, mate.
Therefore, I enjoyed it myself.
Chatting out, we've been like we can go on for so long. It's been an hour and 35 minutes, and I've thoroughly enjoyed it, my man. You've got the whole. Sorry, mate.
I was absolutely panting it before. Like I was like sitting there. Like I messaged one of my pals, like I'm actually shitting myself. I had been back in the forward, so right. See, before you fight, you always have a pre-fight piss, right? But always, like, see, once your hands are bandaged up and your gloves are on, you get that feel that you need to do another pre-fight piss. And look, I had three of them before we even started this. I was like, thank God I never had the gloves on. It's never good.
Sorry.
But no, it's been good. I've enjoyed it.
Mate, when I had Charlie Adam on a few weeks ago, we were on for ages, and it was hot about the hour mark, and I was hosing through this, okay? And I was bursting, mate. That's how I'm just sipping it now, because I learned. And the sweat, the beads of sweat were starting to come down my head and everything, and I was thinking, oh no. And I held it in that long, mate. My kidneys started aching, and I couldn't just jump up in the middle and be like, Charlie, I'm off. I'll be back.
Toilet break.
After I just started to calm and just started to relax again. But 10 minutes later, I was back again. Just thought, I'm sitting in my living room on my own, well, I just pissed myself.
Listen, we're rolling to do some things.
Well, mate,
it's been brilliant, mate.
I hope everything goes. Well, I'm sure it will. Ken, I didn't just hope. I'm sure it will, mate. Ken, and as I was saying before, Ken, the hell of Dundee are behind you, mate. So, guys,
hopefully we reach further out. Hopefully we get out to the world. It's like I want the world to see how real I actually am. Like I don't want no favors. I don't want nobody to hand me no journeyman. I want to do it real. It's not that I want the fans to get what they pay and what they deserve. So that's kind of just where I'm at, and I didn't want to, obviously with all my sponsorship and whatever else I had previously, I wasn't doing nothing. I was like, listen, I just need to have a step back. I need to clear myself, get myself back to basics, and get myself back to being me, make myself happy, and just do what I'm going to do. And like I'm here now. I'm chopping at that door, and I'm just waiting for one of these promoters to come back and say, here, listen, this is what we've got to offer you. Will you be interested in this or whatever else? Like it's not money that's motivating us. It's not fame that's motivating us. It's the fight and the fact that I know that I still have more to give. So fingers crossed. Hopefully we get somewhere. And Joshy Boy Taylor.
Eddie Hearn. They're putting on every weekend, aren't they?
Say that again, sorry.
They're putting on an event every single weekend in August.
I know, yeah. I know. Yeah, surely they'll squeeze it on. Well, the thing is Maxie Hughes is confirmed to fight, I believe, blah, blah. I might not be allowed to say that yet. So Maxie Hughes is in a good fight. So if Maxie Hughes pulls out injured, I'm willing to step in there. And John O'Carroll is also looking for an opponent. So there's like another one that I'm willing to fight. The best time to have me is now.
Yeah.
Like the best time for someone to take that win from me is now. And then obviously they had Zelfa Barrett fighting Eric Donovan.
Would you like to go back and show them and do it all over again? Just beat them up?
I would. It wouldn't be the fact of just going and beating them up. I want people to realise that I'm not just a talker.
Yeah.
So these people sitting there, I've seen a few different comments, whatever else, right? Anybody that knows me will know. So before I fought Zelfa Barrett, I said to my manager, listen, go and tell the world I'm going to beat this man tonight. And he just looked, and he actually walked outside the venue to the pub across the road from the York Hall. I think it was called Dundee Arms or something like that. I'm not sure, because I never actually seen the pub. Went in and was like, listen, if anybody's wanting to win money tonight, put your money on a man called Ronnie Clark. And People didn't see the amount of messages I got on my fan page. Listen, mate, thanks. You made me sending me their betting slips and everything. And I said in the prior to it, I promise I'll make the bookies hate me. I'll make the bookies hate me.
Love
and the guy who done the interview says, "Oh, you'll make the bookies rich." Ronnie says he'll make the bookies rich. And I'm like, I'm not sure if you've just done a misprint or you're trying to fuck up my head, but you're not going to fuck up my head. You're just going to get your man fucked up a little bit more. Excuse my language, but like #fact. so yeah,
guys.
but yeah,
no, tuning in. It's been an absolute pleasure having Ronnie on. Amazing story. I love it. Love it even more that you're a Dundonian, even though you're speaking posh nowadays. But, share this away here. We want to try and get it out to as many people as possible, not just selfishly because we want to promote the podcast, but obviously to promote Ronnie's powerful story, and hopefully we can get him as a community. We could drive it and we can get him on another card. Spot on. Have a good one, Trips, and I will catch you all later. Peace out.
Thank you very much.